Today, I want to talk about why your stutter gets worse, even when you feel like you're doing everything right. Most people think a setback happens out of nowhere, or because of bad luck, or because deep down you're just not built for this. I used to believe that too, but that's not what actually is going on. There's a specific, almost mechanical reason why it gets worse, and it has nothing to do with how strong or lucky you are. I know this because it happened to me 4 weeks ago. I went from ordering a coffee without a second thought to standing in the hospital lobby scared to say the word out loud. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly what happened in those 4 weeks, why it went as fast as it did, and the 2-spiral model I now use to catch this pattern and save myself from a long and depressing downfall so that you can too. Let's get into it. About a week ago, I was standing in a hospital lobby. There's a coffee machine to my left and an espresso bar to my right. My hand is already reaching for the machine. Not because I want a bad coffee, but because the machine doesn't ask me to say the word coffee out loud. And what scared me wasn't that I was afraid to order coffee. It was what that fear meant. 3 months ago, I would have walked straight to that register without thinking twice. Just 4 weeks had erased months of confidence. Let me back up for a second and tell you exactly how that happened. I'm an all or nothing person. When I go all in on something, everything else quietly disappears. I had gone all in on my speech for months. Daily calls, ordering food, talking to strangers, and slowly the fear started losing its grip. I wasn't scared of my future anymore. I was actually excited about it. Then I went all in on this channel, and then a family member ended up in the hospital for weeks. My speech training quietly slid to the side. I kept telling myself, I'll start again next week. Then next week became the week after. Then another. Now here's the part that actually scared me. It wasn't gradual in the way I expected. It was gradual until it wasn't. The first week, nothing. I barely noticed. By the second week, small things started to feel heavier again. By week 4, standing in that lobby, all of it was back. The fear, the hesitation, and with that, my stutter became heavier again. Not because I'm weak, but because that's how fast this actually goes downhill once you stop paying attention. And nobody tells you that part. But here's the thing that gave me hope in that same lobby. If it can unravel that fast, it can rebuild that fast too. And that's exactly what I want to show you now. Here's what I've come to believe after going through this more times than I'd like to admit. There are 2 spirals, and you're always on one of them. The negative spiral looks something like this. You stutter badly once, so you get a little bit more afraid of the next time, so you avoid it, which means you speak even less, which means even more fear builds up in silence. Before you know it, you've avoided so much that the smallest thing, like ordering a coffee, feels like defusing a bomb. It feels safe to avoid in the moment, but it's actually a prison. And I built that prison for myself more times in my life than I can count. But there's also a positive spiral, and this is the part that I actually want you to hear. You face one small fear, you get a small win. That small win gives you a little bit more courage for the next time. You show up a bit more, you collect a few more good experiences. And within 2 to 4 weeks, not years, weeks, you could be standing in a completely different place than where you started. There's one thing that gave me hope right there after that coffee ordering incident. I knew that the same speed that took me down into that negative spiral is the same speed that can take me back up into the positive one. That's the whole why behind this video. But knowing the spiral exists doesn't help you if you don't notice you're on the wrong one until it's too late. So here's how to actually catch it. That spiral is powerful, but it only helps you if you know how to catch yourself on time. So here's a rule I use for myself. It's simple. 1 bad day is allowed. If you slept badly, or your nervous system is fried, or you're a bit sick or stressed, you get a pass. It's okay to say, it's not my day, and skip the hard stuff for that day. That's not the problem. The problem is day 2 or 3. If you're well rested again, and the same basic things that you usually do without thinking suddenly feel a lot scarier than they did 4 or 5 days ago, that's the moment to pay attention. Because your stutter doesn't get worse randomly. It starts with fear. And that fear starts one of 2 ways. Either something happens, a bad moment where you stutter, and you get scared of the next time. Right after that, you start hiding more. And the moment you notice yourself hiding more, you can already tell it's going to get worse. Or there's no single moment at all. You just stop practicing for a bit, and the fear creeps back on its own. Either way, fear comes first. A stutter getting worse is just what follows. So here's the rule of thumb. If that fear sticks around for longer than 2 or 3 days, it's time to act. For me, what helps me notice it before it's too late is a daily check-in. I'm currently doing a 90-day challenge into a routine of checking this along other things, and a quick reflection at the end of every day is part of this. 3 or 4 questions, that's it. It lets me know almost immediately when my speaking anxiety starts to creep up. You probably won't track it daily like I do, and that's fine. You can just do a mental check from time to time. But if you're serious about turning this around, even a weekly check-in works. Just ask yourself, how's it going? Do I feel more or less fear than last week? Have I actually been doing the work, or has it quietly slipped? That's it. That's the early warning system. But catching it is only half of the equation. The other half is what you actually do once you catch it. So what does the actual climb back up look like? I'm not going to pretend there's some secret trick nobody's heard of. But I do want to be specific, because just start again isn't advice. It's a slogan. A great place to start is simply reading out loud, multiple times per day, on your own, every single day. It sounds too simple to matter, but it's a good foundation to build on because it helps you rebuild confidence. Then you do the opposite of what your fear wants you to do. Your fear wants you to isolate, to talk less, and to go to fewer places. So you do the opposite. You go to more places, you talk to more people. But you don't start with the hardest version of that. You start in safe places first. Talk to your friends more, talk to your family more. Build the small wins before anything else. Once you've got some of that confidence back, you push it further into the places that are a little more uncomfortable. Making short phone calls, talking more at work, anywhere that used to feel easy but doesn't right now. Each of those is a small win, and every small win feeds the upward spiral we talked about earlier. Of course, it helps to have the proper foundation and speaking technique that enhances your fluency, but that will be a subject for another time. In the meantime, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss anything. But none of this, the rule, the check-ins, the small wins, matters unless you actually apply it to your own situation. So, I want to ask you something. Have you ever had a good stretch with your speech? Weeks, maybe months, and then life happened and you watched the fear creep back in? You are not broken, you are not back at zero. You just went a few weeks without watering something that needs daily water. If you want to work on this together as a community, check out the link in the description for my upcoming school community. So tell me in the comments, what's the one thing that knocked you off track last time? A busy period at work? A bad experience? Life just getting in the way? If there's one thing I want you to take from this video, is this. The spiral down is real. I've lived it more times than I'd like. But the spiral up is just as real, and it moves at the exact same speed. You don't need to have never fallen off. You just need to decide today in which direction you are heading. Pick up your daily exercise again, then pick one small thing you've been avoiding. Do it today, then do it again tomorrow. That's it. That's the whole plan. Complete fluency is still the goal. I'm not pretending otherwise. But even before you get there, life already starts changing massively the moment you choose the right spiral. I'll see you in the next one.